Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk to you about what do you have to give, and this is more in relation to like tithe or helping other people out. So a lot of times you hear in the modern church 10% of your gross sanctified income, and obviously gross sanctified income isn't really written in the Bible. Obviously that's probably terms that pastors use nowadays to relate to the times we're living in now. In the Bible, it does actually talk about giving from your increase, though. So this would be after things are taken care of, your bills are taken care of or things like that. You're giving from your increase. So that's after everything else is taken care of, food for your family is taken care of and whatnot. Now, obviously, there is first fruits and things like that as well, where you are supposed to be giving the first fruits of your garden, basically, to God. But there's, it's basically giving from your increase is what the Bible talks about. So in that respect, I know there's a lot of people nowadays that don't necessarily have an increase. There was a time I remember with my husband and I that we literally had $7 to our names after we paid for all our bills and food and stuff like that. And we had no savings, no nothing. It was just we paid our bills and we had $7. We were very much so paycheck to paycheck. And we weren't going out to eat a bunch, or we didn't have these super fancy phones. We had prepaid phones and everything else. Like my husband and I are very, we only get what we absolutely need. So we'll have the cheapest phones and the cheapest prepaid plans as long as it covers what we need. So this was at a time period where we were being very frugal, but we still only had $7 to our names after we paid bills. At the time, we actually didn't even go to church. So theoretically, we could have given some of our money from that to a church if we had gone at the time. But that wasn't even really something that was on my mind. But what I want to talk about in that respect is I know there's probably a lot of people that are like that right now, that don't have a lot of increase, that don't have a lot of extra stuff or extra money that they are able to give. Some people do literally live paycheck to paycheck and they have nothing after they've paid their bills. So what do you do then? So that's what I kind of wanted to touch on, because there are, and it's kind of been brought to my attention lately living out here in Oklahoma, there are other things that you can do. If you don't have money necessarily to give to a church or an organization you believe in. And while I do believe in tithing and giving to organizations that do good, and quite frankly, I don't even necessarily believe in tithing just to a church. There are a lot of good things you can do by tithing to other organizations that do God's work. There's a lot of like Operation Underground Railroad, Grindstone Ministries. There's a lot of different vets, something about some vets saving our children kind of program. But there's a lot of different organizations that do God's work that aren't necessarily a physical church. So I truly and wholeheartedly believe in giving to those as a tithe, even outside of a regular church. There's also the fact, too, of you can tithe. If someone is placed on your heart, just think about it, especially right now. If somebody is placed on your heart that, they may need, you may not necessarily know their financial situation, but God really places a family or an individual on your heart, and you're like, I'm going to tithe to that person. You have no idea how much that could change their lives. Even for the, even if it's, even if your tithe is $10, you don't know if that $10 could help them buy food for that week or something like that. So it's not even just doing good by tithing to the church. You can do good by tithing to individuals. You can do good by tithing to other organizations, nonprofits, things like that. But even outside of that, if you do not have any money to tithe, like you are literally paycheck to paycheck, there is no extra money, there is no increase or anything like that, what can you do to kind of fulfill that kind of biblical ability or biblical need to tithe? And it's helping people. So I kind of, like I said, I came to this epiphany recently, that you can do this by helping people. Like we have a garden, and regularly we have an increase in our garden. I'm up to my ears in green peppers, and I've frozen and canned and everything else. And we only have so much room in a camper, so I've started giving our green peppers away to people we know that I know like green peppers, and that's not necessarily that that's tithing, but it is giving from our increase. And so I've been doing that lately. Even just helping people in general, like, if you have a neighbor that needs, I've seen this kind of like on Facebook, an elderly couple needs their lawn mowed, but they don't have the money to do it, so a neighbor does it. Guys, that's doing, how much happiness that can bring people by doing, like, mowing their lawn for them, or saying, hey, you know what, so like, let's say a single mom, hey, I know you're really exhausted, you've been doing a lot of work, or even a single dad, like, let us watch your kids for a day, let us babysit your kids for a day so you can just have some relaxing time. And they may not have the extra money to go out and do stuff and buy stuff, but that's fine. You know what, maybe they just need some extra sleep. But doing stuff like that, where you're being intentional about reaching out to other people and seeing how you can help them, or not even asking them how you can help them and just helping them. If you are in that situation where you are paycheck to paycheck, what do you have to give? You have your time. That's it. That's about all you got. If you have no extra money to give, to donate to any organizations, you have your time, and you can mow people's yards. You can do, like I said, helping, watch people's kids, or just being there to be someone that someone can vent to or talk to, or something like that. Taking the time out to really kind of like listening to somebody, and maybe, somebody struggling, sit there and listen to them and talk with them and try to help them, like be a positive impact. Don't just sit there and moan and groan with them. Like, let them vent, but then also show them the good that is happening in their life and the work that God's doing in their life. Like I said, tithing, in the situation how we are now, with a lot of people either being out of work or being in jobs that they weren't necessarily in prior or whatnot, there's ways that you can still give and do good things to other people without necessarily tithing. Now, if you obviously have the extra money, find an organization or a church or whatnot that you truly believe in, and then absolutely, give them some money. Or even, like I said, families and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be some big thing. It doesn't have to be you give to some big organization or something like that. Guys, a lot of times the best ministries are the ones that reach your hometown. Changing people's lives in your hometown, or changing people's lives in the area around you, or reaching out to a friend. We have social media. You can reach out to people on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and just talk to them and make sure they're doing okay and things like that. If you don't have money to tithe your time, guys. Be willing to help others out, and really just understanding that right now people need somebody to do good. And there is a lot of good still in this world, but I think it'd be a wonderful thing if, you overhear, if you do have, even if you don't have like money to necessarily like tithe to a church, or you don't know of an organization that you really like, if you overhear someone talking, let's say a mom talking at the store about how expensive diapers and wipes are, and how it's really hard for her, to plan that out and everything. You don't know their situation or whatnot. Buy them some diapers or wipes, or if you know a family who's got a bunch of little kids that are in diapers, even if you don't hear them talking about how expensive diapers and wipes are, you can buy them some diapers and wipes. Like, it's not that expensive. It only costs a little bit of money to do so. And how helpful is that? I can say I'm a mom of 3 girls. Like, we've gone through a lot of diapers. Diapers are very expensive. Formula. I've always nursed, my children. My children have never been on formula, but formula is really expensive too. And I know there's programs that do give parents like money for formula and stuff like that. But even then, guys, still, like, you can buy formula for a friend or something like that. Just, something small. And it doesn't have to be, massive amounts of money. If you're buying wipes, that's only a few bucks. But just think about that. I really want you all to start thinking about what can you do within your community, within your group of friends. Like I said, it can be a stranger at the store. You hear them talking to like maybe somebody they're shopping with, or someone on the phone about how expensive diapers and wipes are or whatever. Just buy it for them and give it to them. That's a blessing. And you don't have to go on and on about, oh, this is from God and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Just let it be, let it bring them a sense of like, whoa, like this stranger just did this for me. Like, wow, that's incredible. And let that start working on them. Because I think some things like that where you just give and just walk away, can sometimes be the most powerful thing. And that does go into kind of, you don't necessarily have to blast that on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, that, oh, I did this great deed and things like that. Just do it and don't ask for recognition. Because quite frankly, that's the best way to do things. But just something to think about, guys. Think about what you can do. What do you have to give? Do you have money that you can tithe to an organization? Do you have money or a family that's really been on your heart lately that you know is going through a hard time, that maybe you could tithe to them instead of an organization? Do you not have extra money, but you have some extra time? Even if it's only 30 minutes, do you have some extra time where you could help a neighbor out, or you could help a friend out or something like that? Just think about those things, everybody. Think about ways that you can give, and what do you have to give? Because I know it's different for everybody. Everybody's in different financial situations. So just think about what you have to give, and then give from that. Give with love, give without the need to receive recognition or receive thank yous. If you don't even get a thank you from the person that you give to, don't worry about it. Don't get angry, don't get upset. You still did something good. You still showed them the love of God by giving to them without expecting anything in return. Because if you're giving with expectations of something in return, then that just kind of nullifies the point of giving. So just something to think about, guys. Hope you all have a great day, and hope you all start giving in the way you can. All right, bye.